Let's talk about Birds of Prey.
Hello and welcome to V&I Nation. My name is Alex, and that over there is Titus.
Hello.
Let's jump right into it. Today we're going to be talking about the new movie that just came out, Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of Harley Quinn. And first off, let me say, I had very, very low expectations for this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Birds of Prey is a pretty good movie, actually. Every character in the movie has their own story to tell, which is very interesting because that's how, that's just how Suicide Squad should have been. But, unfortunately, it wasn't. So, we got Birds of Prey instead. And Birds of Prey is actually very well put together, A lot of thought actually got put into Birds of Prey, which is very, very rewarding. It's a very rewarding experience watching Birds of Prey after, seeing Suicide Squad, which there is a lot of characters, but there wasn't enough, depth in those characters, I felt. But with Birds of Prey, every character feels like they're fully fleshed out. They have their own motivations and their reason for being there, and it all just kind of comes together and it makes sense,
It was a very good movie. It did have a few parts where it failed, I think, but it also succeeded on a lot of different levels. We recently reviewed the movie Jumanji to the Next Level, and so one of the biggest things that it failed in was using a gag and overusing a gag. And this movie did very well at doing it the right way. They took the gag of the Huntress being known as the Crossbow Killer, and they just used it enough to make it humorous, but without overusing it too much. And that was one of the things I really liked. Probably my favorite part of the movie was a scene where Harley Quinn is in police evidence, and she has taken this girl that she needs to get so that she can get this special diamond, blah, 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 so forth and so on, plot. And she finds a metal bat in the evidence room while this group of mercenaries is attacking her and trying to kidnap the child. And she just becomes a total badass. She starts throwing around the bat and doing all sorts of crazy things. At one point, she takes the bat, bounces it off of the ground into a guy, which then goes back to herself, which was pretty cool. That might have been my favorite part of the movie, but there were some really solid scenes that definitely deserve recognition.
One of the things I liked about the movie is just how, scatterbrained it all was. Because Harley Quinn was the narrator of the movie, it makes sense that the movie jumps around from different plot points and different things in a very, jumbled up fashion, because that's how Harley's brain works. So I felt that thematically it was a good choice to sort of use that non-chronological order in that way when telling the story.
But there were also some problems with the film, and it's kind of what made it not a great movie. The whole film is narrated by Harley Quinn, and a lot of the movie jumps around into flashbacks to explain previous parts of the film that we're currently missing, until it becomes a whole picture. And one of the problems that I had with it was that it kind of overdid the flashbacks. Although, because Harley Quinn is a very scatterbrained individual, it does work for her, so I was able to get past that. With that being said, there were a couple other issues with the movie, but they weren't major. They were just enough to kind of tweak the movie so that it wasn't great. One of the things that could have made the movie great that DC didn't do was taking each of the birds of prey. The birds of prey ends up being a group of these women who are either walked on, abused, or just not recognized. And I think that the movie could have been better had each person narrated their own part in the story. But, I mean, that's my opinion.
One area where I think the movie failed was with its villains, its main villains. They weren't very engaging. They weren't very engaging villains. They were interesting enough to, like, you know, get the plot going and not have you wanting to, like, leave the theater, which, you know, is saying a lot, actually. But overall, they just weren't very interesting. They didn't have, like, very much depth compared to the main characters in the Birds of Prey. Each of the birds have their own, like, backstories and their own motivations, and everything is kind of very fleshed out. But with the villains, they just come off as, like, underwhelming and not very engaging or interesting.
With that being said, I think I would give this movie probably about, I don't know, a 6 out of 10. Because it was a good movie, and it was definitely worth seeing in theaters. I didn't waste my money by going to watch it. But I don't think it was great. Although, if I were to say anything, I was praying that it would be a good movie. And luckily, it was.
And that's Birds of Prey. Let us know what you guys think. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like and stick around because we have tons of amazing content planned for you guys in the future. Maybe hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because you are not going to want to miss out on what we have planned for you guys in the future. This has been VNI Nation. Thank you, and goodbye.